Hey everyone, welcome back to our weekly wrap-up and what to expect. We had a really interesting week as there were announcements of a new drug that was able to reduce death rates in severe COVID patients, but also the WHO came out and said that we're increasing the rate of new infections for COVID and we're entering a new and deadly phase of the disease. So there's a lot to talk about, a lot to break down in order to understand where we'll be in the near-term future in terms of the economy as well as the stock markets. The first piece of news I want to talk about is the spike in retail sales in May. There was an 18% increase in retail sales from April to May, and this encompasses sales in the restaurant industry, hotel industry, airline, etc. So this is a good sign that the economy is recovering at a pretty quick pace. This is supported by the fact that government support as well as reopening and rehiring is providing discretionary spending for consumers, which they're using happily as there was a lot of pent-up demand during the quarantine. Hopefully we'll see retail sales consistently tick up as the reopening continues, indicating a quick and positive economic recovery. The second piece of news I want to talk about is the recent announcement of a discovery that a cheap corticosteroid drug could be used to reduce the death rate of severe COVID patients by about a third. So researchers at Oxford did a clinical study on a generic steroid that demonstrated about a third of severe COVID patients were able to recover. These are patients that were on ventilators and are hospitalized, so the most vulnerable patients. This is a really positive piece of news as Gilead's drug, remdesivir, was only able to reduce hospitalization stays. So this cheap, generic, and accessible steroid drug being able to reduce death rates, it's huge. It's going to help a lot in terms of consumer confidence, going back outside and spending money, and hopefully helping a quick recovery in the US, which will hopefully result also in the stock market increasing. The third topic I wanted to talk about was the Democrats' $1.5 trillion infrastructure plan that they revealed earlier this week. So as part of this infrastructure plan, there's going to be a lot of money dedicated to education, to creating public housing, as well as water systems. And supposedly this is going to create millions of jobs. So this extra stimulus into the economy, a productive stimulus, is beneficial for our recovery overall. However, with all the positive things aside, there are still concerns. For example, this week, Apple revealed that it's going to close down 11 of its stores across the US because of rising COVID cases in those areas. Now, Apple is able to do this because a lot of its sales are generated online. So the stores, the actual brick and mortar stores, are less important. Analysts do think that stores that were hit more severely than Apple, for example, are going to remain open because they're forced to, as they cannot take another shutdown of their stores. So Apple's case, taking precautions, makes a lot of sense as they are not going to be dramatically hurt by the closure of those 11 stores. But other stores may not close down, which is good for the economy as a whole because they'll still be able to generate sales. The last and final piece that I wanted to touch on is the WHO announcing that we're entering a new and deadly phase of the virus and that it is accelerating globally. So what the WHO is referring to is really cases increasing quickly in select continents, such as in South America, as well as in Africa. So this is definitely a concern as those countries do interact with the US economy and does have implications for sales. But overall, what we're still seeing in the US is an uptick in cases, but a gradual decline in deaths, which is positive overall and should be beneficial for our economic recovery. So taking all that information as a whole, WX Capital is still going to maintain its position, especially in biotech. We do believe that this increase in retail sales as well as developments of treatments and vaccines for COVID-19 is going to help us recover relatively quickly. The cases in terms of Apple closing down select stores, as well as the WHO announcing a more global concern for COVID, is not going to have as big as an impact on the US economy and US stock market as the positive news we heard earlier this week. If you guys liked our video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out our website at www.wx.capital. We have a great subscription service that allows you to get real-time trades as well as market commentary, so you know exactly what's going on with stocks and you know exactly what we're trading and what the next hot stock pick is. See you guys around.